it's less than 4 weeks away till the next Vine concert on Thursday, September 29th. Don't miss an evening with the Sidewalk Prophets at Little Chapel Church in Harrisburg. Tickets are on sale right now at the church office and on the Vine website at wvyn.org. Tickets also available at Daystar in Mount Vernon and Hope in the Future in Fairfield. It's an evening with the Sidewalk Prophets, Thursday, September 29th at Little Chapel Church in Harrisburg.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And good morning again, sports fans. It is 8:30 on a Saturday morning. It is time once again for 90 minutes of great local sports talk. We call it the Sports Couch here live on AreaSports.net and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and of course also in Centralia at 105.5 FM. I'm Randy Olson live in studio along with Danny Ounceman. Danny, boy, the weather really played havoc last night on high school football, didn't it?
Mother Nature once again put the spoilers on Friday night football.
My goodness sakes. So that made us kind of jiggle our schedule around this morning. Some coaches that we were going to talk to, they're going to have to still play today and be resumed. And Danny's going to run through the scores here in just a moment and also kind of tell you the times of some of the games that were suspended and when they'll play. Some of them, Danny, have been moved as far in advance as Monday. The Edwards County game at Christopher, they're going to play that Monday.
That's kind of I'd like to know the scenario there, what brought that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard exactly why, but, boy, that makes it really tough.
To be pushed from today back to Monday, that's going to make a pretty tough week for the Edwards County Lions. Play on Monday and then turn around and play again on Friday.
Right, but we will talk a lot of cross-country today and also going to talk some golf as well. We will have Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules on with us in just a moment. They got their game in last night, and the Mules won it last night. Danny will tell you about that in a moment. We'll also talk to cross-country coach Clint Turner from Mount Vernon. We'll talk to cross-country coach Sam Wilson from McLeansboro, Hamilton County. We'll talk to golf coach Terry Aud from Hamilton County. And we're going to talk to Coach Brian Tackitt from Flora. They did not get their game in last night. They've got to make that long trip to Casey Westfield again today. We'll talk to Brian about what do you do to prepare for that.
Randy, that's a bad thing about this. Some of these travel trips are bad enough the way it is, and then when you get to make them twice on the same weekend, it really creates havoc.
Yeah, it sure does. And we're going to try to catch up with Coach Mark Goodheart of Mount Vernon if we can as well, as the Rams got their game in last night. But, boy, what a late one it was for them, as they were over at Triad last night and had I don't know how many different weather interruptions, but they did finally get it in. Rams came up short, though, and we'll give you those scores in just a moment. You can always check the scoreboard, of course, on our sports website at AreaSports.net. Danny, if you'll run through the scores, I'll get our first coach on.
All right, in the Black Diamond Conference last night in a big matchup game over at Carmi-White County, Carmi leads 14-8, and that game was suspended till 1 o'clock today. El Dorado has the ball on the march, so big battle over there at White County. Edwards County Christopher. Edwards County leads that game 7-0. That is suspended till Monday. Fairfield defeats Hamilton County 32-0 in a shortened contest. Chester and Vienna, they never did get started. They're going to play today. Johnson City 28, Cesar 16, suspended to 4 o'clock today. From the Little Illini Conference, Flora at Casey Westfield, that'll resume at 1:30 today. Newton all over Lawrenceville 51-12 last night. Paris at Red Hill, Marshall 48, Robinson 6, that's a final. And Alany will be at Monticello today.
And we'll run through some of those other scores and give you some suspended times, some games from some of the other conferences coming up here in just a moment as well. But again, let's get back to the Black Diamond Conference, as really the only game that's a final thus far is the Mules game. Fairfield beat Hamilton County last night 32-0. A late night last night for Fairfield. And we've got Coach Justin Townsend, the Mules, on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Morning, guys.
Well, that was a crazy night last night with Mother Nature, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We were obviously happy to get ours in. Not that we necessarily got it all in. We only got a half a football in. Jumped out to 16-0 lead. About the end of the first quarter, we had an hour and a half delay. And then we felt like maybe we had a little bit of a window to get in some more football, and we were able to get into halftime. And at that point, it was 32-0. I don't think the outcome of the game is really in question anymore. And we just both mutually agreed to make it a final. I think both teams are healthy, and we didn't. Our goal was to get it in last night, and we were going to be delayed again at halftime, and probably wouldn't have been able to play because when I finally got home around midnight, it was still lightning, and it just wasn't going to happen. So, like I said, it's a good night for us. We'll take it as a win. We definitely would have liked to have played 4 quarters. Regardless of the score, that's an opportunity for kids to play. And, the reality is you're only promised 9 of those. So anytime you have to cut that down, that's a tough decision to make. But I think we did it, and it worked out. So.
Yeah. Well, you got to be happy with your defense last night, getting the shutout there in that half a play against the Foxes.
Yeah, our defense played well. They've been playing well all year. We knew going in the season, we thought that was going to be a strength for us, and it has been. And I think they're going to continue to be tested more and more as the season goes. But we were able to force a couple turnovers. Obviously, field conditions were a bit of an issue. I know after the first delay when we came back, there's water standing 2 or 3 inches. On our numbers going down, so sideline. So sloppy field conditions, but we were still able to, force the turnovers and, put them in some bad situations. They did have a couple of their better athletes out with injury, so that obviously helped too. But yeah, our defense has played well. Really, our defensive front, and we rotate 8-9 guys up there, so that's another thing that's really beneficial is. We're running fresh guys in, constantly, and those guys get after it.
Well, I guess because of the games around the area that were suspended last night and going to be resumed today, that gives you an opportunity, if you choose to do some scouting today, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually headed over to Evansville. We had a new addition to the family. My wife had a baby last Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Tucker's over in the NICU in Evansville, so I'll be spending all weekend over there.
I understand.
We do have all my assistants. Obviously, El Dorado Carmi is a game that I think everybody's interested in, especially with what the score is right now, 14-8, I believe, in the second quarter.
Right.
And then, obviously, our next week's opponent is Edwards County, and they're going to finish up Monday evening in Christopher. So, and that's another factor. I talked with a few people last night. At this point in the season, you want to stay in that routine. You've kind of got your kids locked in, and I think, it is real important for us to get that game in last night. And now that we got it in, now, our kids are resting all weekend. We're able to go watch other teams play, and I just think it, not only, it was a win-win that we got the game in, but now we're able to stay in that routine. We're able to go scout some other opponents, and I just feel like it was a really positive thing that we were able to do it last night.
Yeah, Coach, I was really surprised when I seen that Edwards County Christopher is going to go back to a Monday. You talk about a tough week of football. You're going to play on Monday night, and then you're going to turn around and play Friday night, and it's a pretty short week between game times anyway, and that's going to be doubly tough on them kids.
Well, there's a couple of factors that I think went into a lot of the rescheduling. One, today is a big ACT day. So there's a lot of kids taking ACTs today, and then also officials. It's hard to find officials. Now, we were proactive. We had called ahead of time, and our our crew we had last night was available if we wanted to do it on Saturday if we needed to. So we were, if that was going to happen, we were set. But there's a lot of teams, probably a lot of schools that were scrambling. I know our crew, by the time they got back in from our game, they had already received 4 text messages about 4 different games for today.
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea. So that's why you may see some of these random times today at 11 or 1 or 4 or 7 or Monday night, That's why. They're trying to find officials. You got to realize, too, Monday night, typically JV football.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of other people had stuff scheduled. So, that's the life of an AD. I'm sure Coach Wells knows all about that. But,
Sure.
I'm sure there was some scrambling last night. So, once again, another reason that we were pretty fortunate to be able to get that in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, your Mules are playing pretty good. You got to be happy with the progress of your team so far at this season,
Right.
Justin.
Yeah, we're 3-0. Obviously, that's where we want to be. I mean, I've heard other coaches say it, and I'm the same way. We kind of break the season down into thirds. Last night we finished the first third, and we're 3-0. We're fairly healthy. We got a few guys, little minor injuries, but nothing that they couldn't suit up and play. And we're kind of going into Edwards County next week and Carmi week 5. So those are games that are close in proximity. They're games that their teams are going to be pretty familiar with our teams. Their kids know each other. I'm going to say that those are some rivalry games for us, obviously. So we're looking forward to those. And so that's going to kind of start the second, third part of our season. And, we want to continue to get better. We've been talking about that all year with our kids, kind of a stair step. We want to keep building. And I think last night was, that's what we kind of, when the game's over and we sit down, can we sit and look at ourselves and say, did we take a step forward? And I think once again we could do that last night. So that's obviously, if you can say that you're still improving and you're going into week 4, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know what's down the road. We know what opponents are on our schedule, and we're going to need to be playing our best football really in the next couple of weeks if we're wanting to continue to have a pretty special season.
Are you a little surprised by the score taking place in Carmi thus far, 14-8?
Not well. I've seen Carmi on film, and they're talented and they're quick, they're athletic. I'm not surprised that they're scoring points. But like I said, I think that game's still pretty early, so I don't know a lot, and I haven't seen El Dorado on film, but I'm sure they're physical and explosive up front, and I think it'll be interesting to see if Carmi can continue to score, and the way they score, throwing the football, which their running game is much improved. But that El Dorado's just going to grind it.
Yeah.
Is that going to play a toll on Carmi, who I think plays several kids both ways?
Yeah, Coach, I don't know if that was the end of the first quarter or early in the second quarter, but El Dorado has the ball, and they were marching right on down the field. And like you said, they were just grinding it out. So it'll be interesting to see Carmi hit them for a couple big plays, I think, in that game. So should be an interesting game over at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting too. Something we haven't talked about. Most of those games, it sounds like to me that they got in a quarter or a quarter and a half. What adjustments do coaches make when they've had all night to sit and watch that first quarter and a half of football.
Right.
And,
Right.
You can sit there and prepare and think that you got everything in, but then they may come out in something differently, some different offensive set or something different defensively. And, so I'm sure both coaches were probably picking that film apart a little bit last night, and it's going to be interesting. It's almost like an extended halftime, obviously.
Yeah.
12-hour halftime. They're gonna go out and they're gonna make some adjustments, and a lot of times that factors in to games that have been delayed for a half a day. So it's gonna be interesting.
Sure will.
It'll create a lot of interesting afternoons, won't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's Saturday football. There's nothing wrong with that. So, it should be. It's fun. Hopefully, I think the weather obviously is going to cooperate. The other thing that with us, not that our field was in great condition before last night, but for the most part, we were able to get out of there without really completely chewing it up. It had rained some, but it had been so dry that our field held quite a bit of water. So
Mhm.
that's another factor. I think there's going to be a lot of fields today get tore up pretty good, I would think. So.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. And, again, congratulations on the win last night. The Mules improved to 3-0. And have yourself a nice weekend. And best of luck with you and your wife and your newborn son over there in Evansville.
Thank
okay?
you, sir.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. That is Coach Justin Townsend over there at Fairfield as his Mules won last night in a shortened game against the Foxes of Hamilton County, 32-0. Probably a good decision last night by both schools, I would say.
Sometimes you have to face reality.
Yeah. But not a whole lot of games got in last night, as you alluded to.
Mother Nature played havoc, and like he said, the fields. You can't believe the beating these fields take, Randy, and they get tore up and they get muddy. Then
Sure.
then it's the rest. I mean, 3 years ago at Hamilton County when we had all that rain,
Mm-hmm.
our field got in terrible shape. We thought we was going to maybe even have to go in there, and they got some new plugs and stuff from the golf course and replug some of it. And,
Right.
It plays a lot of havoc on it, and it'll be hard on field conditions today.
Yeah. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and talk a little cross-country as we're going to join Coach Clint Turner of the Mount Vernon Rams cross-country team, see how things are going with them so far. We'll do that coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Christian music and programming on The Vine is made possible by Wes Rogers Tire and Auto Service in Mount Vernon. Located at 1321 South 10th Street in Mount Vernon, Wes Rogers Tire and Auto Service offers customer service the way it should be and is 100% locally owned and operated. With ASE certified mechanics, Wes Rogers Tire and Auto Service is committed to your complete auto care satisfaction. Their phone number is 315-6497. And we are thankful for their support.
You've heard the old practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Music and ministry on The Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio and streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. Well, since a lot of the football games were washed out last night, we're going to concentrate on some other sports this morning as well. Got to mix it up, and we're talking some cross-country right now as the Mount Vernon Rams cross-country team has the day off so they can practice. But they can look back and see what they've done so far, and that's what we're going to do right now with Coach Clint Turner. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good, doing good. Just got done with practice.
Just got done with practice. How early did they get out there today?
6:30.
Wow.
Man, you're no grump, aren't you? You're no grump, aren't you?
That was their choice, not mine.
Oh, it was harder for you to get there than them.
Yeah, they were here, bright, shiny faces, ready to go. So,
All right.
jumpy one.
Well, tell us how the season's going so far. I know you've had a couple of big meets already, and tell us how things are going for the Rams cross-country team.
Well, it's at this point in the season, it's a work in progress, and just trying to improve. We had a good practice this morning. Kind of went back to a workout we did about a month ago to be able to compare times with what we did. And when kids can see the improvement, that's what's good about our sport. The stopwatch doesn't lie. And I think we left here a better team today, and hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the year and, towards our conference meet in October.
Okay, and what's next on the agenda? What meet you got coming up?
We run Tuesday down at Carbondale. We run at the SIU course, which is basically just south of the arena, right next to the baseball field, Abe Martin Field. And it's going to kind of be a little South 7 showdown, early preseason or pre-meet for the conference meet. We'll run Carbondale, obviously. Marion will be there. Sometimes we get a sprinkling of some other teams that show up. So, this is kind of one of those meets that, because we don't have a meet this weekend, we put a little stock into and try and kind of see where we're at compared to those other teams that obviously we got to battle in the conference meet later.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the week, we go to Olney. Olney's had their invitational for many, many, many years, so we go over and we really enjoy running their course. Flat and it's fast. It's a tough week for us because we'll put another hard practice in between those two meets, and then we get into where we start going our long meets. We'll go to Springfield. We'll run on Triad's course midweek in a couple weeks, which is the regional course for us. And then we make our overnight trip up to Peoria. We run the Peoria Invitational, which is up on the state meet course.
Mm-hmm.
So all that's coming up here pretty soon, leading right into that first weekend in October.
Well, I heard you had a real interesting bus ride here not too long ago to start the season. Didn't get too far, huh?
Yeah, just by chance. I don't know, however things happen. We normally don't run the opening week of the season. We always open up at Murfreesboro, which is the second weekend of the IHSA season. But we decided to go down to Marion, which is going to be our conference course, and we haven't been on it since we ran conference, several years ago on it. And we pulled out of the new school and got on the interstate and barely made it to Ina. And just for whatever reason, things didn't work out, so it wasn't meant to be for us to go to Marion that day. So we just had to chalk it up to experience and stories, and that's all we could do.
Hey, that's another one for the book.
Yes.
Another one for the book.
Another one for the book.
Absolutely.
Every coach and every educator could probably, at the end of their career, write a best-selling book about their experiences. And that's one that could fit in the book.
That's got to go for one of the chapters for sure. Yeah. Well, tell us about the Ram runners this year. Run through some of the names and guys that have returned, and then some of the new faces.
Well, we're led by Hagen Schneider, who's one of our seniors who's really ran out at the varsity level since his freshman year and is doing really well. I mean, I don't want to say he rededicated himself this year, but he just stepped up his training during the summer, added some things that I think are helping him now. Really pleased with his workout today. He's had some good races. So he's off to a good start, and he's kind of the guy that we follow. He sets the pace literally for us in a lot of the things that we do. Dylan Blackford was an all-conference guy last year, and he's been fighting pneumonia, actually. So he's kind of been on the shelf. Hopefully we get him back starting next week. Evan Owens. Evans has been an all-conference, all-South guy. He's a junior. He's running really well. Probably the biggest improvement in any of our guys is Nate Blevins, who has just dedicated himself and jumped in with Evan and Hagen and literally just try to hang on to those guys, and it's starting to pay off to where now he's really part of the workouts and one of our top 3 guys. So, dealing with those 4 guys, that's going to be kind of the core of our team. And now we're just trying to find, I think like a lot of teams are, especially in the South 7, trying to find who is going to be that legitimate number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Cross-country team is can only be as good as your number 5 man. And then we even talk 6, because, boy, at least 2 or 3 of our conference meets in the last 4 or 5 years has come down to the tiebreaker, or the meet's been within 1 or 2 points. So just trying to find one of those young guys. Is it going to be a guy like Ezra Foxall, who's a junior, Ty Crane, who's a sophomore, Max Vinzaletta, who's one of our freshmen, has really had a good summer. Isaiah Bradshaw didn't run as a freshman in cross country. He had a broken arm and couldn't during the cross country season last year as a freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
He's right there. So I got a mix of about 5 or 6 guys that are needing to just keep working and hopefully can fill that spot. And those spots are 5 and 6 for us.
Yeah, all right. And I know Connie Hari-Blair, she's had some success with the girls on the girls' side of the Lady Rams cross country this year, hasn't she?
Yeah, Kate is really running well. Another person that's, I think, kind of rededicated herself, stepped up her training through the summer. Kate Boucher was, has been a good runner since her freshman year, but she has really stepped up. She won the meet over at Edwardsville the other day. She was 3rd at the prestigious Granite City meet and looks just really, really strong right now. So, she's going to keep things rolling, and hopefully the girls team can keep doing what they do. Miss Hari, she's kind of a master of the trade. She's been doing it a while, and if those girls hang in there, I think they're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. And you two have such a good working relationship together. You do so many things together and play off each other, and I think that's been great for both of you.
She's definitely a blessing to the whole school, but definitely to our program. I was thinking about that the other day. This is my 20th cross-country season.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably like, I don't know, I'd have to just kind of take a guess, but I think it's like 37, 38 cross-country seasons for her. She's the original coach of the women's program since about 1979, 1980, and she's not slowing down a bit, and so knowledgeable, so respected, and just a great coach and dedicated to her girls and the guys for that. She really takes care of us, so we're happy to have her and blessed to have her.
Yeah, absolutely, sure are. Well, Clint, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch, and best of luck as you continue on through the season and keep working towards those goals that you have. And hey, I'm impressed getting up and practicing that early, aren't you, Danny?
Yeah, I'm just glad to see he's still capable of getting up and moving around that early in the morning.
Well, I appreciate that, Danny. I really do. Thank you, buddy.
It's always good when a guy can. That's the thing about being around youth, Randy. They keep him young.
That's right. They do.
I'll take the youth part of that. Thank you.
They sure do.
Well, one thing about it, the weather's supposed to get a little more conducive to running this week, Clint. Supposed to have a pretty nice
this morning.
Yes,
Nice.
I bet it was very nice out there this morning for your kids. It's been pretty hot and miserable, so it's going to be a nice time of year coming up.
Got some needed rain, too, I'm sure, on your end of the deal. That you were happy to get the rain. All the crazy lightning we had last night. I was over at the Triad game, and it was quite the show. It was amazing what the weather was doing.
Yeah, how many interruptions were there last night during that football game?
3. And
makes for a long night, you know it?
Yeah, and it was, and it never really rained until later in the second half. It was just a lightning show all around us. It was on the south of us and the north. It was interesting.
Yeah, we had quite a show here.
Kind of scary, to be honest with you.
Yes, it was.
There was a lot of really spooky clouds that were rolling in last night.
Yes.
The cloud formations were amazing.
Well, and you couldn't, obviously, at nighttime see them, but then when the lightning flashes
Sure.
they weren't short flashes. They were long and pronounced. And boy, yeah, you'd see the clouds, and it was just like, whoa, holy cow, we gotta be careful here.
Right.
Yep. Matter of fact, some people at Homer, Illinois, they experienced a bad tornado through that area, and our thoughts and prayers out to those folks here this morning.
Oh, I hadn't heard that, so absolutely. Yeah, I know the warnings were out in Jefferson County, and hopefully things.
Yeah, I heard they saw some funnel clouds by Effingham and saw some by Champaign last night, so it was a pretty hairy night for sure.
Okay.
All right, Clint. Well, thanks again for joining us.
Guys.
Have yourself a good weekend, all right?
Good luck.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All righty.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Okay, bye-bye. Clint Turner, head cross-country coach there for the boys at Mount Vernon, and, yeah, they've already had practice this morning.
Yeah, well, Randy, that just shows part of the dedication that these kids have for this sport. Not only do they get up and run these 5 miles or 4 miles or 3 miles, whatever, but to get up if they started at 6:30, some of those kids left pretty early to be there this morning.
Oh, they did.
And
with cross country, you've got to be self-motivated anyway. That's a sport you've got to be self-motivated about. And we're going to find out about another cross country team later on in the show. We're going to visit with Sam Wilson from Hamilton County later on.
His team's having some great success down there this season. His boys finished first place in a meet yesterday down at Benton, that 6+ meet they have over there. And got a couple young ladies doing a great job too.
All right, all that coming up. But we're going to visit with Brian Tackitt from the Floor Wolves here in just a moment. They got to go back to Casey today. Wow, long trip. Long trip. We'll visit with him coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
Crawford Plumbing LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
Real Life Radio is happy to have the underwriting support of Quad County Seamless Gutters located in Texaco, Illinois. They are a full-service seamless gutter business. They specialize in new 5- and 6-inch seamless gutters, repairs, gutter cleaning, and leaf guard installation, and have over 30 color choices available and several leaf guard options as well. Fully licensed and insured with 15 years experience that is backed by their 1-year parts and 2-year labor warranty. Check out their work on Facebook, serving Jefferson and surrounding counties. You can reach Kenny at 214-4311 or Robert at 315-4610 for a free estimate.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net, where there's live video streaming, and WVYN.org, where we have live audio streaming. Well, the Floor Wolves, Danny, are going to have to make that long bus trip back to Casey again today after the thunderstorms and the light show last night, as they've got to play Casey Westfield. That game suspended till 1:30 this afternoon. That's a long trip from Florida to Casey. I imagine they're going to be getting on the bus here pretty quick. Let's find out. Coach Brian Tackitt joins us on the phone right now. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Randy?
Just fine, just fine. So you are probably going to board that bus here pretty quick, aren't you?
Yeah, we leave at 10:15. So another one of those fun bus trips I just couldn't get enough of.
Yeah, exactly. Did you get any of your game in last night at all?
No, we didn't. We went out. We had our special teams go out about 5:50, and they punt and kick, and we catch, and then the linemen come out at 6 to join us, and the linemen got right to the edge of the field, and there was a big crack of thunder and lightning, and we went back to the school and never came out.
Yeah, I can understand that. And so, what's the mindset as you make that long trip, you get ready to play, you're amped up, you're ready to play, you're psyched up, you don't get to play, then you come all the way home, you sleep, then you got to get up and go again. Boy, that's tough. How do you prepare the players for something like that?
It is tough. I'm sure it's tough at any level. I came out into the gym and told the kids that we had called it and we were going to, pack up and go home, and a couple of my linebackers looked at me, and I admit I was scared. Because, you get prepared to play, and it's tough to shut that down and then sometimes tell the kids 24 hours later or less than that you got to crank it back up again. But we're getting ready to meet down the field and just have the kids walk through and do some, just walk through our offensive stuff again, walk through their offensive sets again, and kind of recreate Thursday night a little bit for them before we get on the bus. And hopefully they're jacked up, ready to go, and they can get it going again. I think it would have been tougher to. That's one thing why we didn't want to get started and then get into a suspension situation. So, we were pretty proactive, and both coaches and staff didn't want to get started and then have to stop. So I think that would have been tougher.
Well, Coach, now. A lot of times coaches like to get their players in a routine, and now your team's out of your routine. And that has to be a little bit of a challenge for you. Like you said, these kids are ready for Friday Night Lights. Then when that doesn't happen, this is usually a recovery day, watch film, and get started preparing for the next week. And now you're behind the 8 ball again, and it's definitely a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a challenge because, everybody likes a routine and likes to know what to expect. And even last night, AD was talking about, possible on Monday. And we were pretty strongly against that because that really would have messed up the routine next week for us to prepare for Lawrenceville. But, it's tough. Again, like I said, just try to recreate a little bit of, what we would normally do with the walkthrough and try to get the kids back up there and prepared and, use the situation we're in the best that we can and remind them that Saturday afternoon football is not so bad either, and hopefully, a few weeks from now we can do that.
Well, Coach, that's one thing I was thinking, and I was thinking that's probably a point you're going to bring up here today, that Union's got to use this as an opportunity to say, okay, if we're going to play playoff football, this is what we're going to be doing. And this is, you have to kind of use this, you have to try to make a very positive thing out of this, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whether it's a win, loss, whatever the situation is, try and bring the positive out of it. And exactly what, us as a staff, we're going to try and do with the kids today is recreate, hey, imagine what this would be like, say, 6 weeks from now. And, Saturday afternoon football and, the bus leaving in the morning and, all that. That's to try to get them, something to look forward to and recreate something that, if we are fortunate enough to get there, that it's not a brand new experience or just a brand new situation for them.
Well, how do you think your Wolves team shake out against the Casey Westfield team? What are you expecting up there today?
Well, we should be okay. Coach Monken does a great job at Casey. I don't know if you're aware, his brother is the head football coach at Army. So if you watch any Army-Navy games, that wing style of running attack is exactly what Coach Monken has at Casey as well, too. It's like his brother runs at Army. And we saw on film last week where their top running back kind of was helped off the field, and we saw last night he was there on crutches. So, we don't ever want to see that. We hope that he get to play today, but I know that if he does not, then that's a big kick to their offense. But they have a great great athlete at quarterback. That kid can make a lot of things happen, and all week long we prepared for him and try to keep him from getting to the edge on us. They run a lot of quick option stuff too and dive option stuff. So our game plan today is try to get the ball out of his hands and into somebody else, because we feel like if he's the best, we can get the ball out of his hands and make someone else try to beat it.
I'm sure field conditions will come into play. I'm sure they got a big rain up through that area too last night.
Yeah, it poured last night while we were in the well, they actually brought us into the hallway because the tornado sirens went off in town, and one of the kids from the high school that was going up to the game, they, of course, nowadays nothing gets uncaptured with the cell phones and everything else, and they had recorded a funnel cloud that was trying to materialize, and it came down to the ground, but just never really really formed into the tornado, thankfully. But so yeah, they got a lot of rain last night, so I'm sure field conditions will be a little sloppy. We did walk the field before the game, and the game was in good shape, so hopefully it won't be too bad. And stuff like that, you just hope no one would slip and get hurt or anything like that.
Well, that's things that come into play in games like this, because those things could definitely happen.
Yeah, and early rain games. Of course, it's not going to rain today, but field conditions can really neutralize two teams. And you never know when your kid's going to slip, and that results in a big play or a score. And those are just the uncontrollable factors that make football such a fun, unique sport. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, there were a couple of games that were finals last night in your little Illini conference. Newton all over Lawrenceville, 51-12, and Marshall all over Robinson, 48-6. Any surprises there, Brian?
No, I'm sure that's probably what most people thought would happen. I was surprised that Marshall got their game in, because we were just about 12 miles away from Marshall, and we decided to give it up and go today. And I don't know if I would assume they had some time when they were suspended. I don't know. It surprised me that they got that game in. And then when we got home about 9:15, I turned on the radio and was able to listen to the Newton Lawrenceville game. So they were suspended for 2 hours and started back up about 9:15, 9:30 at night. But
wow,
that's a pretty tough deal too, right there. You get loose and you get warmed up and you play a little bit, and then you go and you get stiffened up and cold, and then you try to revive. That's got to be a coaching nightmare too.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to do that last night. I'd be really, really concerned with injuries, and even last night they were talking about abbreviated pregame, and they even mentioned, and it was just thoughts of maybe just a 5-minute halftime or something like that to save time, and none of that stuff was worth getting a kid hurt. So we didn't want to go that route at all. But I mean they chose to, and I'm sure they were wanting, if they made the trip, they wanted to get that game in, and hated to mess up their routine, for the rest of the week too. So I don't blame them for trying.
So you got to see them at least on the hoof last night, right, in uniform?
Yeah, exactly.
So they didn't slip any 6'6", 350-pounders in on you last night or anything that you had to look at, right? Okay.
No, they didn't, and if they try to do that today, I'll be sure to catch that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us this morning. I know it's a tough situation for the Flora Wolves, but hey, they're young, they're resilient, and hopefully they'll respond well for you tonight. We will wish you luck this afternoon, I should say, as you take on Casey, and hopefully you can beat them for the second year in a row. And that would be a first time, probably, huh?
Yeah, no, we've only beat them twice total in the program, once at their place in 2003 and our place last year. So yeah, we've never beat them back-to-back years, and we've mentioned that too. So, and just a great opportunity to play a proud, great program at their place. They do things right up there, and we'll be looking forward to the challenge.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. We appreciate it, and best of luck, and we'll talk to you down the line, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Randy.
You bet. All right, bye-bye. It's Brian Tackitt, head football coach of the Flora Wolves, and that's a tough situation. It really is, but it might be better, the fact that they did not play at all last night.
Well, he's not got any kids that took some physical pounding and beating and stuff. They're still fresh. The only beating they took is that bus ride, and they're going to get to make it twice.
Yeah.
That's never a fun deal there.
No.
But, anyway, I'm like you. I'm a little surprised there wasn't, with the weather conditions the way things are, I'm a little surprised there wasn't a few games just scrapped before the night even began.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm surprised, like he is, that they got the Marshall game in. When you look at the fact that Marshall played Robinson, and that's only 12 miles away from where they were at Casey, and they got that game in. That's really amazing.
And Fairfield, you know, they were knocked out early there. Any game that got in last night's they had a late night, I'm sure.
Well, there was a late night for the Mount Vernon Rams last night, too, as they traveled to Triad last night over Troy, and they got the game in, but not after at least 3 delays, and I don't know what time they got back on the bus to head back to Mount Vernon, but we'll find out here in just a minute as we're going to talk to Coach Mark Goodheart coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mount Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004.
Get rid of your old documents and help keep your identity safe. Join FNB's Shred Day, Saturday, October 1st from 9 a.m. until noon at our Fairfield location to recycle and safely shred up to 50 pounds of paper materials. We'll also be e-cycling old computers, monitors, printers, and other various electronics with a limit of 1 TV per vehicle. Want even more protection? Ask us about Secure Plus checking, helping to protect your identity beyond your bank account. FNB, Banking Business Life, member FDIC.
Financial support for local Christian radio is provided by Realtor Mark Terry, broker for MG Foley Real Estate Incorporated. Mark Terry is a full-time realtor working for you. If you're buying your first home or your first home in many years, Mark Terry offers full-time service as you seek a new home. Mark's office is located at 2019 Broadway in Mount Vernon, and his phone number is 214-4317.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Onselman. Well, we mentioned not a whole lot of games got final last night, but one that did was the Mount Vernon Rams game over at Triad in Troy, as they got that game in last night, but it was a late one, Danny, 34-7 the final. The Triad Knights win it over the Rams. Let's find out more about what happened over there last night with head coach Mark Goodheart of the Rams. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Very well. Hey, it was a late night.
Woo, real late. How many delays did you have? I heard at least 3.
Yeah, we had 2 in the first half. Probably should have had several more, but we were really trying to squeeze it in. End of the third quarter, we had another one going, just starting, and that's when we kind of just said, "Hey, we're just gonna end it and then be done with it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation when you have to stop and go like that, and it's hard to keep the guys up, isn't it?
It sure is. You know, this is my first experience. As the head coach dealing with game stoppage due to weather, as an assistant, you try to get your position players, keep them focused, keep them hydrated. But collectively, the whole deal was on me last night, and it's kind of interesting just how the whole process even worked. With their athletic director. The game officials who are really in charge of that whole that whole part of it when you're dealing with weather and fans and players and you know, it was a long process last night.
Yeah, you know, Coach, that's when Mother Nature wreaks havoc on it. It makes for some lot of stressful times for a lot of people. And we've talked to some coaches this morning and said, you know, officiating, there's a lot of responsibility on those guys. But then if you start to scrap games and try to reschedule, then you got to find a crew that can continue to do that game, because those guys may have other commitments, and it just becomes a big fiasco before the evening's all over.
Very much so. You know, I know that officiating crew. Two of the officials last night could not make the Saturday game if we rescheduled. I have a coach right now at the hospital with his wife. They're getting ready for another addition to the family. I have another coach that has season tickets down in Mississippi, and you know, it's just difficult. Today we have a bunch of the kids are taking ACT tests. There's just so many conflicts that go into play when you try to possibly reschedule a game. We were wanting to get that game in last night as hard as we could. You know, as long as it took, and we thought we had an open window there that we could shorten halftime, maybe shorten quarters, and get it in, but it just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just, you know, the end of the third quarter there, we just, with that another 30 minutes. By the time if we stayed and packed everything up, we probably weren't looking at getting home till 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
So we just decided to end it and fight another day.
Yeah.
So who is the next opponent for the Mount Vernon Rams?
We have Althoff. We got the conference opening up, and
Merry Christmas to you.
Well, you know, you're just jumping in with both feet. That's how you look at it. It's you know, from Triad to Althoff. There's it's a
somebody really likes you.
Yes. Hey, you know, the South 7's tough this year, so it really doesn't matter who you draw. Your hands are going to be full.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, if it was not Centralia or Althoff, would be a whole lot better place to start.
Yeah. You know, hey, get that out of the way. You're done with it.
Yeah.
Get it over with, huh?
Well, hey, you had a couple.
Exactly.
You had a couple of big plays last night, though, Coach. Let's talk about that, because there were some positives again that you could take out of that game last night. So, talk about a couple of those big plays that you had.
Well, we had some pretty good runs. Opened up the pass a little bit. I think Nick Malone had over 100 yards in the first half, even with the conditions that we were in. I mean, the ball was heavy, slick. Zero traction. It felt like, you know, walking across the field, I felt like we were walking on sponges. And, you know, to play in that was a feat in itself. But, you know, with athletes that we have, Nick Malone is a sophomore. You know, everybody got an opportunity last night to catch a few passes. And so, hey, I like what I saw. We stayed in the diamond a little bit and pounded. The traction wasn't there, though. When you're trying to move another human being, you're just on ice.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to open it up a little bit, and I'm proud of them for, you know, with the conditions that we were in, and we did okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Danny, he mentioned something there I hadn't even thought of until he just said it, how heavy the football gets when it's wet like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
It makes that and the slickness, and it gets down there and gets a little mud mixed in there with it, and your hands are wet, your uniform's wet, there's nothing to dry it on. It's definitely a big challenge. Besides that, I wore wet clothes once this week myself. I didn't like it. I can't imagine doing it for 4 quarters. I didn't do it but for about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I knew getting ready for the game that I had to pack me a extra pair of socks, a towel, and some dry shoes. The worst thing for me is walking around with wet feet,
mm-hmm.
let alone getting on that bus. And so, you know, the kids, you know, some of those kids got off the field, they brushed the mud off and got on the bus. I don't know how they did it, but goodness.
Wow, that's something. Yeah, that Triad team is a very, very good team. I mean, you knew going in last night that was going to be an uphill battle, particularly at their place, and then the weather conditions didn't help you any at all. But you know, the fact that you got on the board, you scored against them last night, and you know, you had some positive things that happened that hopefully you can build upon as you move through the season. Of course, next week is going to be a tall order with Belleville-Altoff. I mean, you know, they're state ranked again, and rightfully so with all the guys that they've got back. And
well, you know, anytime you just with the parochial schools, you can you know, get the players that you need, and but hey, that's they're allowed to do that, and but we just have to compete, you know.
Sure.
We have been pretty competitive in years past versus Altoff, and you know, it's just I guess it's just a little added notch in the belt when you can beat a parochial school that's allowed to, you know, recruit.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, we've done an entire show about that before, so I'm with you on that. You know, we're in the same camp. I guess there is an opportunity though for you if you choose to that you could do a little scouting tonight because they're resuming their game with Breeze Mater Dei tonight at 8:00, I guess.
Yes, and we're hoping to catch a little bit of that, and you know, there's quite a few games that we could catch a piece of.
Yeah,
and that's something I did not want to do. Gosh, I did not want to fold tents and then unpack them again the next day.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think you guys made the right decision last night. You really did.
Well,
so.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, Mark, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. We appreciate it, and best of luck as you prepare for next week's game. Did everybody come out healthy last night otherwise?
Oh, yeah. We're short people anyway.
Yeah.
And, we just got to keep kids healthy and get ready for next week.
All right. Well, have a good weekend then, and stay dry. All right?
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate your work.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
That is Mark Goodheart, the first-year head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. Of course, he's been assistant there for many years, but he got the head coaching position this year. And, again, tough
deal
on the road at Triad, and then in those conditions too, Danny, on top of that.
Oh, yeah, you know, this 5A football, Randy, like you talked last week, it's a whole different animal up there. And there are some big-time football players on some of these teams. You'll see them playing at the next level. Some scores there from that game last night. Triad 34, Mount Vernon 7. Centralia, they keep rolling along. They defeat Charleston 41-8. They got a young man at quarterback. He'll probably get a great opportunity. I mean, he's a multi-sport athlete.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll probably get – football seems to be one of his best strengths, though, and he may get an opportunity to move on and play. Carbondale and Waterloo, that game was suspended till 7 p.m. tonight. Cahokia, Geneseo wins that game 35-7. Belleville-Altoff at Breeze Mater Dei, that's suspended till 8 o'clock tonight.
Actually, that was 35-22. Geneseo.
Oh, what did I say, 27?
Yeah, 35-22. I think you said 35-7. Yeah, Cahokia actually played Geneseo pretty well, you know, and that's a powerhouse program. So for Cahokia to at least play with those guys speaks well for them.
And Marion's, I guess this is at Galesburg today?
Yes, it was already scheduled to be a Saturday game.
Yeah.
And
so that's a long bus ride.
Yeah, that's a long bus ride there. And really one of the reasons why they scheduled that for Saturday was not only because of the distance, but also last night, the 1996 Carterville team, which was coached by Kerry Martin, the head coach of Marion now. He coached that Carterville team back in 1996.
They were having their reunion.
They had their reunion last night, and so Coach Martin was able to go to Carterville last night and be able to see all those athletes that he coached the state championship in 1996. So that was nice.
That was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
From the River to River Conference last night, Anna Jonesboro defeats Massac County 34-7. So Anna looks like they could be a top team there on the west side of that bracket. Benton and Pinckneyville. Pinckneyville leads 7-0. That was suspended early in the first quarter. They'll continue tonight at 7 p.m. And in a big game last night that did get completed, Heron 27, DuQuoin 26. DuQuoin got the ball with about 1:20 to go, trailing. They marched down the field, scored. They went for a 2-point conversion to win the game and come up 1 point short.
Boy.
So, sometimes you roll the dice, but I think they thought the weather was not going to allow them to continue that game. And the coach said, I'm going to go for it here. And, hey, give him some credit. He had enough confidence, enough faith in his kids, and the Heron kids had enough left in them that they was able to prevent it, and they hung on to win 27-26.
Big stop on that 2-point conversion to win the game for Heron,
Boonville, Indiana, 29, Harrisburg, 22. And in a game that was back and forth, not really back and forth as much as run by both teams. Murfreesboro jumped out to a big lead. Carterville come back in the third quarter and tied the ball game, and Murfreesboro scored late in that contest to win that reunion game, 27-21, kind of ruined the evening for the Carterville Lions. And Nashville at Trenton Westland, that is suspended till 3 p.m. today.
And also you had West Frankfort beat Sparta last night in a game involving River teams. All those games last night in River were actually non-conference games because they were playing each other from the other side. Other side of the conference, of the division. But they were still River teams. But West Frankfort all over Sparta last night, 43-6. Been a tough year so far for Robbie and the guys down there at Sparta. Of course, I know they had a serious car wreck early in the season that affected some of the players, and they've just it's been a tough year for them so far.
Well, I'll tell you, it's these smaller schools, Randy, if a key injury can really wreak havoc with these programs. The numbers are not large at some of them, and every kid that is on that team's a very important factor, and if you get a key cog, gets dinged up or has to miss some games, it really plays havoc.
And then you got some scores from some games involving teams from the Apollo Conference. These are all non-conference games, too. 3 of them got in, and 1 was suspended.
Yeah, Mount Zion beat Bethalto 40-6. Highland 47, Effingham 14, Mattoon 23, Jerseyville 7, and Muscuda at Salem, that was suspended till 6 p.m. tonight. And, there was some funnel cloud activity around the Salem area last night. It never did come to the ground, but I think they were some pretty ominous weather up there early last night.
So, again, if you want to check those scores, just hop on our website, AreaSports.net. Check the football scoreboard there. You can stay up to date on what scores are final, what games are in progress, and where those scores are at, such as that Carmi game that will be resumed this afternoon against El Dorado. That's 14-8. And then you can see what time all those games will be resumed. That Carmi El Dorado game, what's interesting about that is when they resume, I believe that El Dorado is 4th down and 9 on the Carmi 11-yard line. I think is where they're at when they pick up the game today.
Well, I knew El Dorado had the basketball. El Dorado had the football, and they were had a pretty sustained drive going, and Carmi was going to have to try to figure out a way to stop his run. So be interesting. That'll be a good game today. If you're not doing nothing, you want to see some good football action, that would probably be my pick of the game.
Yeah,
today.
That's at 1 o'clock today at Carmi. Actually, that football might have looked like and felt like a basketball, as wet as it was.
Yeah.
Last night. But they do have that nice surface down there at that nice field there at Carmi. So hopefully the weather hasn't played too much havoc on that field, and they'll be able to resume that game today. All right, well, we're going to shift gears again and talk some cross-country when we come back on the show, as Sam Wilson's going to join us, the head cross-country coach from Hamilton County. Talk about the success that the Foxes and Lady Foxes are having so far. We'll be back and do that. Coming up next on the Sports Couch.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
B-Way Design and Decorating in Fairfield provides complete design and installation of custom cabinets, flooring, paint, draperies, and interior design services for residential and commercial interiors, along with custom windows, countertops, and decorative accessories. B-Way Design and Decorating is located at 1000 East Main in Fairfield. Their website is bwaydesignllc.com, and their phone number is 842-9216. We are thankful for their underwriting support.
Underwriting on the Vine is made possible by Fairfield Printing and Graphics. They specialize in screen printing of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies with your favorite team name and colors. They also do printing of envelopes, stationery, posters, and business cards, and they also make outdoor banners in a variety of sizes and colors. Fairfield Printing and Graphics is located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield. Their phone number is 842-4048.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net, live audio at WVYN.org. We're trying to make connection here with Sam Wilson, the cross-country coach at Hamilton County. We'll try him again here in just a second. Also, we're going to have Terry Aud, the golf coach from Hamilton County, on with us here in just a little bit as well. So, again, a lot of success for both the cross-country and the golf team thus far for Hamilton County, and we want to be able to talk to them about that this morning, especially given the fact that a lot of the football coaches are unavailable this morning because they are getting ready to resume their games today, and so that's kind of caused a little bit of a change in some of the coaches that we were going to have on the show, but we've always wanted to talk about cross-country and golf and fit it in the program, so today seems to be a good day to do that. So we'll try to get Sam and both Terry on the phone. Danny?
Yeah, both those teams down there are having some great success. Sam's got some good young runners in that cross-country team, and he seems just to be regrouping, and I don't know if he forgot me here this morning or what. We got a message going out to him. We'll see if we can make contact with him. Also, the Hamilton County boys golf, they just keep reloading down there. Terry Aud's got another great group. They're having some real good success down there. He's got some kids that's going to get an opportunity to advance on and play some college golf, I'm sure, on that team. So, be interesting to see his thoughts here this morning on how his team's at and where they're progressing and how he thinks things are shaking out in that Black Diamond. Hopefully we can get contact made with these guys. Also, the Cardinals come back and got a big win there last night against a Milwaukee team that they need to definitely be taking advantage of all season long, and they kind of lost a game the other night to them and fell out of that wild card race, or a half game behind the Mets now. So the Cardinals are going to really have to come up with a push, but they're not playing very well at St. Louis. They're the only team with a winning record that has a losing record at home. So Cardinals got to figure out what's going on at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, you're right about that, Danny. And and I really thought that when the Cardinals pulled out that game, when they were down to their last strike in Pittsburgh and had 2 outs and 2 strikes, and then hit that home run with Carpenter to tie the game, and then went on and won that game in crazy fashion in the 9th inning. I really thought that game might be the catalyst for the Cardinals moving forward. But then they turned right around and lost 2 more games right after that. And but then, fortunately, they bounced back last night and beat a team that they really should handle, especially at home. I mean, when you're at home, you should have a better record than what the Cardinals have, but they've certainly been struggling. But they did get the win last night against the Brewers, so that was important as these games start to wind down. All right, we've made connection now with golf coach Terry Aud from the Hamilton County Foxes. And Terry, good morning. How are you?
Hello, well, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. And
thanks for having me.
Your golf team is doing very well so far. Tell us about it.
They are. They are. My boys' team is off to a 17-5 start, and the girls are 3-1. So yeah, we're pretty excited about this year for both groups. Yeah,
17-5 and 3-1. That's outstanding.
Yeah, the boys. And then 5 losses: 2 to Benton, 2 to Mount Carmel, and 2 to Massac County. Them are 3 quality programs. We're playing some pretty good golf right now.
Well, we're pleased to hear that, and those people who are watching our live video stream right now on AreaSports.net, we've got a picture up on the full screen of the boys golf team, and I can't tell what country club that is at where this match took place at, but it was one that we grabbed from the school website there. But Talk about the players on the team. Run through some of those members right now and tell us some of the highlights.
Okay, well, Nate Neal, he's my lone senior. Him and sophomore Austin down, they're leading the team. Down at probably what picture you got shown is maybe at Massac County. We went down there. Nate shot a 73 and Austin shot a 75. We tied with Benton. I mean, and like I said, Benton is a real powerhouse. We tied with them for second place. We lost on a fifth score playoff, but tiebreaker. But they played some very good golf down there. Also playing in the number 3 spot, Kyle Van Avema. He's had some good days.
Man, you say that name so good. I just call him. I call him Kyle Van the Man because I can never say his last name.
I know it. I've had to say it several times through the sports and through church and all that. I hope I've got it down right. But yeah, he's a junior and he's just doing real well for us. My number 4 guy, Cameron Gray, he's played some very good golf this year. He stepped up. He shot a 38 there a couple weeks ago. I've also got Austin Gray and Sammy Benbrook is the 5th and 6th spot. I've got Alex Rapp and Jordan Riley on the team.
Well, you got a nice group there, and that's where that picture was from, Terry, when you finished second down there at Massac County. Your team's having a lot of good success. You got, like you said, you got Nate Neal back. There's a young man that'll probably get an opportunity to go on and play some college golf if he wants to.
Yes, he's already visited a couple schools. I don't believe he's signed anywhere yet, but yeah, he's going to have a chance to play some college golf somewhere. And Nate has, the 4 years I've had him, he's worked very hard. And even before that, he was out there a lot, but he's worked very hard, and it's going to pay off for him.
We'll talk a little bit about some big matches you got coming up. I'm sure you're getting into the heart of your Black Diamond Conference schedule, and you've been champs of that Black Diamond now for quite a while, and I'm sure there's several teams shooting for you.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success. I think we've won it the last 3 years in a row and 6 out of the last 7 years, and of course we're going. Well, no, it's the last 2 years maybe in a row, but yeah, we're going for 3 in a row. Chester, they're probably our biggest competition, and I really don't know what they have. We've not faced them this year. They're way west of us, and I think they've got a pretty good team. Carmi's usually there, but Carmi's down this year, so it's basically we're going to have to, beat Chester to win it. As far as the big matches we got coming up, Monday we had a tournament at Anna called off about 3 weeks ago. They've rescheduled that for Monday, so there's probably, if everybody shows up, going to be about 15 teams there. Massac County be there, Benton. It'll be a very tough tournament. We'll be able to see where we're at with everybody else in Southern Illinois. We go to El Rey Tuesday, go to Waltonville Wednesday, and then Centralia Thursday to face Christ Our Rock Lutheran. So we've got a full schedule this week.
Got a big week of golf, and it sounds like. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here this morning. It's always good to get a chance to talk with you and let you talk about your kids and the great success you're having down there with that program, and we appreciate it, and we'll probably catch up with you another time or two here throughout the season and keep that Fox's golf rolling.
Okay, thanks a lot, Danny. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, Terry. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's Terry Aud. He's the golf coach down at Hamilton County. What do you say? 17-5 and 3-1. I think he said. Yeah, 17-5 for the boys and 3-1 for the girls. Boy, that's a great start, and I'm impressed they've been able to get so many matches in.
Yeah,
think about it.
They haven't been playing much on the weekends. I think they've been playing a lot through the week because week seems pretty good and the weekend seems pretty rainy right now. So anyway, they are having some great success down there, and he does have good golf team down there. And Sam Wilson is ready for you to call him.
Is he ready? Okay,
yeah.
Well, good. We will try to get Sam on.
He's sorry about that, but he's ready to talk to us now. So we'll continue. Randy will get him on the phone. Just regrouping a little scores last night. Carmi got suspended with El Dorado. That'll be played this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Carmi leads 14-8. Edwards County and Christopher. Edwards County leads that game 7-0, and it's suspended to Monday night. Fairfield and Hamilton County called it at halftime, 32-0. Chester and Vienna, that's at Vienna. That was a Saturday game already. And Johnson City leads Cesar-Valier 28-16, and that's suspended till 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that was the Black Diamond Football Conference last night.
All right, and we do have Sam Wilson, cross-country coach from Hamilton County, on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to have you on the Sports Couch today, and you've had a lot of success with your cross-country team so far this year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we've been doing real well so far, competing real well. We've had a lot of low scores, which a low score in cross-country is good. So we had a 17 one time and a 21 another, which the best score you could get to 15. So we've been doing pretty good on the boys' side, and on the girls' side, we've been doing good too. We've got a few out with injuries and stuff, but as soon as they get held up, we'll be doing real well.
Well, talk a little bit about your boys' team. Hit on some of your key runners, and talk about that team and a little bit for the people that haven't had a chance to see your team.
Yeah, of course. My number one boy right now, he's a sophomore, but this is his first year actually competing in cross country. It's Hunter Braden, and he's ran real well for me. He's been running times pretty close to what Tyler ran last year, so that's always a plus because I was wondering who was going to fill Tyler's shoes. And then I have Matt Rubenacker, Logan Hunt, and Clay Reagan, who have all been running real consistent and real fast times. And they've been anywhere between my second and fourth runner, each one of them, over the past couple meets. And then for my fifth runner, it's been changing around a little bit between Alex Sultanapana, Trenton Butler, and you score your top 5 runners in cross country. For anybody that doesn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a freshman, Evan Shelton, that's been running really well. We've actually got 14 kids on the boys team right now, and so future's looking bright. We only have 2 seniors, and none of our top runners other than Alex will be graduating this year. So.
Well, and speaking of scoring the top 5 runners, I think you had a meet in Benton, I think it was, here recently, where you had your top 5 runners, I think, finish in the top 10, didn't you? You have 5 guys in the top 10?
Yeah, we had that at Benton and at North City. At Benton, we had the number 1 runner, the number 2 runner, the number 4, 5, and 9. And at North City, we had 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So.
Yeah, Randy's got a picture up on the screen right now of them holding up their fingers at what position they finished in that race.
Yeah.
Kind of a pretty neat deal there. Well, talk about. Go ahead, Sam.
They've been taking some interesting photos after the meets. So Lori Rubenacker's been doing those, and she's been doing a good job at taking them.
We'll talk a little bit about your girls' side. I know you got a young lady, Reagan Halley, that's been running very, very consistent for you there, and I knew you had some key injuries, so talk a little bit about that group.
Yeah, Reagan Halley, she's back again this year and doing really well. She ran really awesome at Benton. I think she set a new PR for herself there. And then Olivia Reagan, she's a freshman, and she's been running really well. She's been a little sick the last couple meets, and so hopefully she'll get over that and be ready to run. She was actually my number 1 runner at Edwardsville. And then I've got Jade Lemons and Jasmine Coombs and... who? Yeah, Leah Reagan, Abby Riley. Who am I missing? I'm missing my number.
It's hard to remember all those girls off the top of your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm really putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, kind of putting me on the spot. But they've all been running really well. Right now I've got a few. Jada Johnson runs for me too. And a couple of them have some small leg injuries that they're trying to recover from right now. And once they get over that, we should be good to go. And then Kaylee Chapman, she runs for me. She's usually my number 3 or number 4 runner, but she's had a lot of breathing issues lately. So I'm hoping she could get over that and recover and be ready for whenever it comes to conference and regional time.
Well, hopefully the weather's going to get a little cooler and a little nicer. It's got to be a big challenge, this hot weather that we've had, for these young folks to go out here and compete in these races, Sam. It takes a lot of determination and a lot of effort on these kids' part, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's, it's hard, especially whenever, they walk through the gym on their way out to practice, and it's nice and air conditioned, and then they're heading out into 90+ degree weather to run miles. So
well, talk a little bit about a couple of the big meets you got coming up. I'm sure you got some big races coming up that you're looking forward to seeing how your team's going to perform at.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We were supposed to have one this past Thursday at West Frankfort that got canceled due to the weather. And so they rescheduled it for Tuesday. And at that race, there'll be Nashville and Heron and a bunch of big teams that we definitely want to check to see how we'll be up against them. I think we've got a good shot at being close to them if everybody runs as well as they can. After that, this coming week, we have North City Invitational. And then we also have the Alney Invitational, which is another big one. And so we've got 3 meets this week, which will really test the kids and see how fit they are and ready to go, because it's only 2 days in between each meet. And usually in running, you fill the race 2 days after. So
yeah, I started to say now, doesn't it take them quite a while to bounce back from some of this, or are these kids that resilient and they do this enough that they really don't have bounce back days? But I guess you answered that question right there. It's not the day after, it's the second day when it all hurts.
Oh, yeah, that's when you hurt the most. And, with these young kids, usually bouncing back's pretty quick. Whenever you're younger, you could bounce back pretty quick. But yeah, some of them will be hurting and probably won't do as good, on the meet. Like after they run at West Frankfort, they probably won't do as well at North City. But we're really focused on West Frankfort's meet and Alney's meet this week. So at North City, we're just going to see what we can do.
Yeah, Danny, you and I wouldn't be bouncing back in 2 days. We would be bouncing back in maybe 2 months.
I started to say, I'm not even going to go think about doing it. I wouldn't walk it, let alone run it. They'd have to call 911 if I tried to run anything like that, Randy.
So practice time. With all the meets that you've had, talk about practices and what you typically do, Sam. Walk us through a typical practice day or practice run of what you guys do or what you do for the girls and guys.
Yeah, most of the time, we'll jog about a half-mile warm-up, and then we do some dynamic stretches, like arm circles and like karaoke and like different movements like that to loosen up the body. And then we do regular static stretching, and then we'll do a few strides. And then if it's a distance day, then they'll just run distance at easy pace. If it's an interval day, then we'll run intervals, and the amount of walking in between varies depending on what subsystem we're trying to train. And then after the workout's done, then we do a cool down and stretch again. So most days they put in at least 4 or 5 miles, and but we've tried to break it up so it's not just a monotonous task of going out and just running nonstop.
Well, one thing about it, whatever you're doing seems to be working pretty well because your teams are having quite a bit of success. And we talked earlier just about some football teams, and I'm sure in cross country it applies the same thing, Sam. You've got a key group of runners there, And it's so important that none of your key players get injured for your team to continue having that success, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And luckily this year we've got a little room to wiggle, you know, so if one of our, hopefully nobody gets injured, but if somebody did, we've got some people that could probably step up and at least soften the blow. Whereas in past years, if one of our people went down, we'd have been shot. Especially like in '97, whenever we went to state, we only had 5 runners that were, we were really good. But if any of us would have took an injury, we'd have been hurting.
Yeah, injuries are a key player in this high school sports because, like you said, the numbers are usually never very, very big. And for everybody to be successful, everybody's got to be able to pull their share of the load. And right now, your Fox's team is doing a great job with that.
Yeah. So far, it's been good, and we just have to stay consistent and, like you said, injury-free, and just keep motivated towards the end goal, which hopefully we could do really well in the regional and sectional and make it to state as a team is what our goal is. But we'll see how that goes.
Well, Sam, we appreciate your time here this morning. It's always good to catch up with you and get a chance to talk about the success and congratulate those kids and keep up the good work. And we'll talk to you a little more down the line and see how things are continuing for this Fox's team.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us, Sam. Have a good weekend.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye. That's Sam Wilson, cross-country coach at Hamilton County, both the boys and the girls. And both teams enjoying some real success here, Danny.
Yeah, his girls' team is a little banged up right now. But the boys' team is really doing good, and they're being led by Hunter Braden on that group. Matt Rubenacker and the Reagan boy are his top 3 runners, and they are really, really having a good season down there. So best of luck to those runners down there, and hats off to them for the dedication it takes to be in that sport.
Again, as we mentioned earlier while talking to Clint Turner from Mount Vernon, the cross-country coach there, cross-country is such a sport that you have to be self-motivated, and if you're not self-motivated to get out there and do it, nobody's going to do it for you.
Oh, no.
You got to do it.
It's all about you get what you put into it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it takes special people to do that, so hats off to them for that. Cardinals play at home against the Brewers again. 6:15 start tonight. Adam Wainwright will be on the mound. Cardinals definitely need to keep the pedal on the metal if they're going to get into that wild card.
Cardinals got the toughest schedule of all the teams remaining in that wild card race, and the Mets, who they now trail, has the easiest, and that's not a good sign.
No.
The Cardinals just need to play more road games.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing some road games here soon. In fact, the 3-game series that's coming up next week against the Mets, the Cardinals will not face Arietta in that series. The way the pitching matchups are set up right now,
they're 40-28 on the road and 30-38 at home.
You just assume they play the rest of their games on the road, to be honest with you.
It's
crazy.
I seen one of the St. Louis sports writers after the bad loss on Thursday night said that the St. Louis Cardinals owe the fans a refund.
Well, that might be going a little too far, but I guess people are pretty upset with the fact they've played so poorly at home, and it's hard to explain why that has happened. It's just hard to explain.
It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, totally the other way around.
I don't know. I think they've kind of gotten the funk, and now they just keep pressing, and that makes it worse. But the Cardinals are not very strong. They're not going to make if they don't hit a lot of runs, Jaime Garcia, I don't know. His last 4 starts, you just wonder what's going on there.
You think they'll pick up the option on him? They've got a chance to pick him up on a 1-year option for $12 million. I've heard some rumors that say the Cardinals will exercise that option for $12 million because that's a bargain for a starting pitcher, but then they'll trade him.
Well, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
but you got to have a buyer.
Well, you got to have a buyer. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I do. The Cardinals got some big decisions to make over the winter. John Mozeliak is probably going to be under more scrutiny this winter than he's ever been. But I'll give him some word of advice right here, right now. Don't finish second. The Cardinals fans have had enough of the finishing second. We go after these big-name people, and we always come in second place. Well, they've been pretty tolerant this season, but I'm telling him this winter he better sign an impact player. It either needs to be a bat or it needs to be a pitcher, and he better sign an impact player or his days in St. Louis will be numbered.
We'll see if we can get somebody on the phone with us next week, maybe Tom Ackerman from KMOX or maybe Frank Cusimano from KSDK TV Channel 5. We'll try to get one of those guys on with us next week, talk up a little bit more about the Cardinals as we head down the home stretch and kind of get their input on that and whether or not they think the Cardinals will get in and whether or not, what kind of moves the Cardinals are going to have to make in the offseason.
I really think the Cardinals are going to be just good enough not to get in.
I'm afraid so because the Mets have suddenly put it together. Cespedes is playing very, very well. You look at that starting rotation that the Mets have, it's definitely a better rotation than what the Cardinals have right now.
Yeah, it just that game in, game out. And like I said, they've got the easiest schedule to play.
And I honestly think the Giants will end up catching the Dodgers. I think the Giants will end up winning that division, and it'll be the Dodgers and the Mets in the wild card, with the Cardinals just outside of it.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to just come up short, and it's going to be because of their play at home.
Yep. All right, we're out of time, Danny. It's 10 o'clock. We have blown through 90 minutes of great local sports talk this morning. Appreciate all the guests being with us. And, again, thanks to our sponsors for making it possible. Hopefully they get those football games in today and tonight.
Oh, yeah, I think weather's going to cooperate. There is a little chance. It's kind of clouding up out there right now. Looks like it might rain, but hopefully they can get them in there and get regrouped, and hopefully it's not going to be this way all season.
Yeah, I hope not too. But big game down at Carmi today. If you're wanting to see some high school football, that's probably the biggest one. I think there'll be a crowd down there today at 1 o'clock as El Dorado takes on Carmi, with Carmi leading at 14-8. Yeah.
Been a good day.
It sure has. All right. We'll be back next Saturday morning, same time, same station, same websites. All right. It's the Sports Couch, 90 minutes of great local sports talk, 8:30 every Saturday morning right here on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net. Have a good weekend, everyone. Take care.
This is your home for best Christian